It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Breakfast, talking your property news 7 days a week, as heard on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Amazon. Monday, the 25th day of November. Hope you had a fantastic weekend of property fulfillment, if that was the objective over the last couple of days. It is a mad scramble for everybody at the moment, including mortgage brokers, as we found out on Saturday from Anthony Landau.
Yeah, spring's always very busy, but we seem to be having a busy flurry just before the year comes to a close. There are some opportunities in the market. We're seeing some of the more affordable markets creating quite a lot of competition at the moment, but people are still out there wanting to try and secure a property before the end of the year.
Yes, no doubt about it. Things are very busy right now. And last week we were talking about unit buying in some of the affordable areas like Sydney's Parramatta and Melbourne CBD, which are leading the demand. We looked at some of the most in-demand suburbs for first home buyers. This from PropTrack, which did throw up in number one position Parramatta. Median unit sale price of $625,000. Melbourne CBD of $580,000. Ryde in New South Wales $728,000. Campsie Epping in New South Wales $800,000, and Marylands, which we highlighted last week, $485,000. Also, we've been talking about the REA Group Annual Excellence Awards, which honours this year's high achievers in 2024, and we're meeting another person who was a winner and recipient, and that is Nancy Yang from Buxton Port Phillip in Melbourne. And good morning to you, Nancy. Welcome to the Real Estate Breakfast, and congratulations.
Thank you, Craig, and I'm very excited to be on the show with you today.
And you were named the Rising Star of the Year. So how long have you been doing real estate, given that you're the Rising Star this year?
I've been in real estate for 4 years now, and I've been a standalone for about a year and a half. It's been a very exciting journey, to say the least, as well.
Okay, so 4 years in real estate. There will be people thinking about going into real estate for 2025. What would be, if you could speak to yourself 4 years ago, what would be some of those things that you would say to yourself now that you've got this experience under your belt?
I think the first thing that I would say is it's definitely what people see on social media and the news. A lot of those real estate reels and those, real estate articles, they're about people that have been working very, very hard for many years. So it's a lot of years of hard work and effort and sacrifice to get to that point. And you have to be going into it willing to make those sacrifices, knowing that it's not going to be a linear journey. There are going to be very tough days. There are going to be very bad months. But if you have a set, clear, defined goal, you'll get to where you need to be, but you can't give up at any point. The other thing that I probably would say is that researching the company that you want to work for is really, really important. You've got to make sure that it's a team that wants to see you grow. It's got a good culture. There's strong retention. People don't leave. And that everyone in that business seems to be doing well or supporting each other, because it's easy to sort of pick any brand to join. But if you're not appreciated and you're not taught correctly or you're not supported, your career isn't going to go further.
Yes, those are a couple of really interesting points. Strong retention, that's really important, as is the culture that you talk about, and being appreciated, because I think a lot of people think that all real estate companies are the same. They are not. That strong retention, we know that real estate agents, a lot of the fall off is happening after 12 months, and it's as high as over 80%. one of the things, and I'm really strong about this, is that when the employment happens, a lot of these new real estate agents are just sort of left to get on with it, and there's no guidance and holding the hand and helping them transition into the role of being a successful real estate agent. What do you think about that?
You're not wrong. A lot of agencies do just leave you to your own devices and say, well, here's a database, get calling. And then you get afraid to step on people's toes because they have existing clients. And you get worried about getting rejection because we have a lot of rejection in real estate. A lot of what we learn to be a good agent or a great agent is on the job. So it's not as though you can sit in a boardroom and have classes or workshop things and then you become a great agent. A lot of it is on the job. But that said, you should still have set parameters and guides and help with feedback, as well as help with campaigns to manage and run, as well as working with perhaps a more senior agent, going to appraisals, seeing how they operate day to day and absorbing that like a sponge. Because when you're first joining a new agency, that's what you should be. You should be a sponge. You should be excited to learn new things. You should be taking everything in. You should be reflecting on your days and months as you grow. I think it's also really important for you to voice your thoughts and concerns, because if you're afraid to voice how you're feeling and try to fix things and make things right so that you can do better, nobody knows that you need help. So if you need help, you really do need to voice it.
Yeah, and being organised too, time management. I already get the sense there, Nancy, you've got some great time management skills, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm definitely the kind of person that remembers things in the middle of the night, halfway through sleep, and wake up and make a list and then put it in my calendar for the next day.
Yeah, I get that sense. And prospecting, so important. Don't go into real estate next year in 2025 if you don't want to get out and do the prospecting. Such a critical part of real estate. Some people, I've said this before, some agents think that they can just do the social media and not do the prospecting. It doesn't work like that.
It's actually very funny. So with social media, if you actually look at all your favorite agents' accounts and look at their followers, it's just real estate agents and people in finance, mortgage brokers, the industry, lawyers that follow those real estate agents. It's actually not a great deal of people that are genuine clients that will transact. And I think that's really important to know, that you can see all these flash real estate agents on social media, but then you think about yourself watching them and you're probably not a vendor or, a seller or a buyer. So with prospecting, you've got to be, first of all, people rejecting you, it's not personal. They don't know you, you don't know them. You've also got to realize that out of 100 calls, you might only have one meaningful conversation. And you've also got to be very persistent. Once you've opened that line of communication, you've got to make sure that you don't just say, oh, well, that was a good chat. If they sell next year, they're going to call me. It's not that. It's so much more. It's, getting to know them, getting to know their situation, why they want to move, wishing them happy birthday when it's their birthdays, checking in on them here and there to see what's been happening and if you can help. It's Christmas cards that you send out every year. It's also seeing, how their kids' first day at school went. So you become part of their life when they do take that step to make that transaction. And you become quite an important part of their life too, because that's their, their family home. That's a place that they've had as an investment for years. It's something that they've worked hard to purchase and now look at selling. So you've really got to care about the people that you're working with. And that also has to come through when you are prospecting. You've got to be very genuine. You can't sound as though you're just chasing a listing for the benefit of you. You've got to be speaking to them as if you're trying to help and solve a problem that they may have. Because at the end of the day, yes, we're real estate agents. Yes, we list and sell properties. But ultimately, we are advisors, negotiators, and people that solve a problem.
And authenticity, of course, that's pretty important. Not everybody is authentic. Unfortunately, with social media, some people sort of put on this sort of mask, and that doesn't always transfer when they are face to face with somebody if they get into a room. So always be yourself. Don't try and create something, because that just doesn't come through. Right, we better get on and have a look at some of the things that you're noticing there in your market, because you've noticed a shift towards expression of interest as a preferred sales method over traditional auctions?
Yeah, so with the EOI process, for those that do not know, it is basically the same as an auction by way of a 4-week campaign. But instead of coming towards that date and, being out in the street or in the property and bidding, putting your hand up, there is an EOI form that you fill out by that date. And the form basically stipulates what your offer is, but you only have one opportunity to put that form forward. So typically the agent will not come back to you and renegotiate. It will just be that one best, only and final offer. And then by the end of that process, the agent will then speak with the successful party and say, congratulations, we'll sign the contract of sale with you now. So we've noticed a shift to EOI this year, particularly because of the uncertainty in the marketplace. People don't want to feel as though they're overpaying. There's also people that are, working with brokers and need to be subject to finance. There are also people that are selling while they're trying to buy as well. So they need that stability in saying, hey, I need to have special conditions in place so that I feel certain levels of protection. I have certain levels of comfort moving forward with the purchasing process. And that's why EOI has been so popular, because with an EOI, you can be subject to finance and you can be subject to building and pest inspection.
All right. Thank you, Nancy. Lots of information there for anybody wanting to get into being a real estate agent. The right way about going about that for 2025. Thank you for those tips. You're a great communicator. Does not surprise me that you have been named the Rising Star in the REA Awards this year. Well done, and have yourself a fantastic 2025. Thanks for coming on to the Real Estate Breakfast this morning.
Thanks, Craig. Have a great day. Thanks for having me on.
It's the Real Estate Podcast, talking properties from 6 a.m. every day, from every corner of the Australian real estate market. From powerful and up-to-date news to professional real estate experts with the latest property trends on the Real Estate Podcast.
It's an interesting trend, and the unit market has significantly outperformed the house market. In the last 12 months alone, the unit market has increased 18.8% compared to the house market, which has increased 11.9%.
I would be advising to buy now. You buy now, yes, you'll be paying a higher interest rate, but when everybody else comes on those lower interest rates, it's going to push the market upward. And I see a real growth for the market in 25.
We need to address the taxation of new housing. Unfortunately, property taxation in this country is in part a key driver of the affordability crisis, and other infrastructure charges are just driving up affordability.
Like for the last 12 months, it has been harder. Like buyer sentiment has been challenging, and people are nervous to buy. But I think we offer really good value for money out here regionally. You can see that in the numbers of properties I've sold in the last 12 months.
If you're confused about the property market, don't be. Unlock and educate yourself with the latest trending analysis and interviews. We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.